Today we're going to do something fun with macro photography. This is called oil and water photography, and we're going to use a macro lens, and it's going to be a great opportunity to make some really cool images. So I'm actually going to use my cell phone today. You could use your camera with a macro lens, or you could use your cell phone and just add a macro lens to it. This is a macro lens I have on my phone. There's several different types of little lenses you can get for your cell phone. So if you have one of those, this will be a great chance to use it. So to do the oil and water photography, you're gonna need just a couple things. A glass bowl, you're gonna need some water. I'm gonna use coconut oil today, and the reason why is because you're gonna have to melt it, and it slowly starts to get solid again while you're doing your pictures, and it can do a really neat variety of images. So that's kind of fun to let that do what it does while you're taking pictures. You're also gonna need some different types of fabric. So if you have some scarves, a great chance to pull them out. If you have just some fabric laying around, I'm gonna use, for this demonstration, I have a scarf here from a Jane Austen novel. So I'm actually gonna do it with some words today. So that'll be a lot of fun. So we're gonna kick off. What I'm gonna have to do is melt the coconut oil. So I'm gonna run to the microwave behind me and melt just about 1/4 cup. It doesn't really matter how much, it's just that once you put the oil in, you can't take it out. So start off with a little amount and add to more. The first thing you will need to do is put the water in. Again, this does not matter how much, however much water you want. So you just kind of pour it in, then you're gonna be adding the oil, but I'm gonna go heat the oil up. Remember, it does solidify pretty quickly, so you wanna make sure you're ready to shoot before you melt your oil and add it. Okay, so I've set up our bowl here. I have the water in it. I'm using the scarf with the words, and then I have melted my coconut oil. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in. I do have a spoon as well to kind of mix it. So we're gonna pour it in, and then you can see pretty much a giant bubble right there. And then I'm gonna kind of just go like this. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't take it out after you put it in. So just kind of keep that in mind. So I have my camera now, and I'm gonna go up close. You wanna make sure you don't drop your phone in the water and oil, so keep that in mind, be very aware of that. You're gonna need to get pretty close to get the macro shot. And these bubbles are moving around, so I'm gonna try to get the bubble when it gets into a word, just because I'm using the word scarf today. And I have some bubbles that are large bubbles with small bubbles all around them. That is a great one to get a whole bunch of letters all mixed in there. And if you need to mix it back up, you can. Remember, being the coconut oil, it is gonna start to solidify on us. So you wanna try to get as many shots before it starts to change as possible. The really cool thing, if you're using a scarf with lots of color and energy in it, you'll be able to get the reflection of those in your pictures, in these bubbles. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, this particular bowl that I'm using, right in the middle of it, has the name of the bowl right across. So I don't want that in my picture. And then there's a line of words on this side too. So I don't want those in my photographs. So you kind of want to always be aware of where the bubbles are when you're taking these pictures. And you're trying to get whatever exciting image you can find. This is kind of cool to do outside too. You can use the sunlight to get some extra reflections in there if you'd like, or you can also light it. I'm just using the kitchen lighting right now. And if you can tell right here, it's starting to get some scratchy lines, and what that is the oil is going solid on us again. But that can actually add a really cool effect to your image, especially if you can get it to go over like a special word that you're trying to communicate in your design. And remember, you want to get nice and close because that's what the macro lens does. You can also zoom in. See how I zoomed in here with my camera? That gets some really cool. You can do that in post too, remember? If you're like, oh, I didn't thought about that and I already took half of my pictures, then you can just do that in post. I really like the letters reflecting in these bubbles. But I've done it with all different types of designs before, and I'll show you some of those pictures so you can see how it would look with just colorful scarves and fabric. So I hope you'll take a moment and just kind of play around with this. If you do make some images this way, please go ahead and upload them, because I'd love to see what you're doing with your macro photography.